This, once again, is the Action Bible. And this is the story of Noah's Ark, based off of Genesis 6-7. Your wickedness cannot continue. Turn away from your idol worship. Return to God who created you and gave us everything we have. God didn't give me everything I have. I stole it. Ha! Noah thinks he's better than everyone else. So this is Noah. But Noah remains true to God. One day, God speaks to him. I'm sorry that I ever made humans. They are corrupt and violent, so I'm going to destroy them. Noah, you have been faithful. Build yourself a ship because I'm going to flood the whole earth. Noah obeys and begins building an ark. He follows the instructions that God gave him. Noah, that crazy Noah, thinks he can float a boat on dry land. What will he think of next? When the ark is finished, God tells Noah to take 7 pairs of each kind of animal and bird that is used for food, and 1 pair of each kind that is not used for food. Noah and his family enter the ark. Now I've seen everything. Old Noah spent 120 years building that huge ship, but he never thought about who would close the door. Either he's crazy or he knows something we don't. Don't you start preaching like Noah. A few days later, suddenly lightning flashes. The windows of heaven open and the rains pour down. Floodwaters rise rapidly. Maybe Noah was right about his ark. Don't worry, there's never been enough water here to float a boat before. Yes, but it's also never rained like this before. Look, the door of Noah's ark is closing. But who's shutting it? Could it be Noah's God? But it is too late. The people who have spent their lives rejecting God now see that God has finally rejected them, and the rains pour steadily for 40 days and 40 nights. Water flows over the land and rises above the mountaintops. All the earth is covered. Only Noah's great ark survives. The flood destroys everything evil. As the rain pours without stopping, Noah and his family work hard to care for the animals in the ark. Have you fed the cows and sheep yet, Shem? Yes, I just finished. Now I'm going to feed the reptiles. And now I have to clean up after the cows and sheep and the reptiles. One day the rain stops, but the ark still floats above the flooded earth. Land is nowhere in sight. A rainbow promise. Month after month, Noah's family waits. We've been in this ark for 6 months now. When will we ever see dry land again? It could be another 6 months. And what will we find when you finally get out? Finally, the water level begins to drop. The ark comes to rest on top of the mountains of Ararat. I'll send out a dove. If it doesn't come back, we'll know it has found land. The dove disappears from sight. Noah watches the skies. After long hours swirling through the sky, the dove returns. A few days later, Noah again sends out a dove, and again it returns. An olive branch. That means some land must be dry again. 7 days later, Noah sends out a dove for the 3rd time. This time, the bird has not returned. It has found a place to nest. Noah and his family are anxious to leave the ark. They look every day for signs of dry land. Look! A little over a year after the flood started, Noah steps out onto dry land once more. Only 8 people have survived the flood. Noah, his wife, their 3 sons, and their sons' wives. The warm sun on my face, the grass under my feet. It feels wonderful. Oh, ground, how I've missed you. Everything evil is gone. Through us, God is giving human beings a new start. We must obey God and teach everyone who follows us to obey. The first thing Noah does is build an altar. He thanks God for his care and asks God's guidance to help the family make a new start. Then God makes a new wonder in the sky. A rainbow. For as long as the earth lasts, there will be a time to plant and a time to harvest. There will always be summer and winter, day and night, but never again will a flood destroy the whole earth. It's beautiful. God is good. And whenever people see a rainbow, they'll remember God's promise that a flood will never destroy the whole earth again. In the years after the flood, Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their families moved down to the river valleys. Their families grow larger. In time, the mountains and plains are dotted with the tents of shepherd tribesmen, and the rich river valleys with growing cities. That's the end of the story.